Oh, I was about to express myself. Oh, did you see it? And then, oh no, what are people gonna think of me? Oh, that was me all the time, not just sometimes. The thoughts just going through my head like, am I allowed to do this? Am I allowed to express myself? Am I gonna get in trouble for having too much fun? Am I allowed to have fun? I can't express myself. If that's you, keep watching this video. I remember when I was a teenager and I managed to get word about a party or invited to a party, and I would have butterflies in my stomach. I would get these like horrible cramps in my stomach before going, because all I was thinking about was like, what were people going to think of me when I showed up? Were there going to be people that I knew there? How was the party going to go? Like, was I going to be embarrassed somehow? Was I going to do something embarrassing? Like, what was going to happen? All these worries went through my head. And I noticed, though, several points, and I'll talk about another point in my life where this happened, it would get alleviated. Like, all those thoughts in my head about what was going to happen actually, didn't happen. I showed up to the party, and maybe I was like kind of awkward, or maybe it was embarrassing at the beginning, and I was trying to socialize with people and I couldn't, and I was shy and awkward and stuff. But slowly as the night progressed, I just started to loosen up. And I didn't even really drink until, I didn't drink in high school. Until the very end. But yeah, I didn't drink in high school at the party that I'm thinking of. And the anxiety was alleviated. So if you know anything about my story, you know that I approached women on my college campus in order to overcome social anxiety and in order to build my confidence. That helped. But big social environments were still a challenge for me. And I remember going out. People, when they go to bars and they go to clubs especially, and they get on the dance floor, they like to express themselves, right? They like to dance. I was so self-conscious. I thought everybody was looking at me, or everybody was going to look at me if I started dancing. I was very awkward when I started to dance. I was so tensed up. I would look around, and that would make it even worse, because I was trying to let loose. I was trying to have fun, but I wasn't having fun. And so one exercise that I actually did when I started going to bars and clubs around, I think that was 23, 24, 25, I would go to the dance floor and I would just go, okay, you know what? I'm just going to dance for 10 minutes, no matter what. And I'm just like, all right. And I would start dancing. And, after the first 1 or 2 minutes were just horrible. I felt so tense. I thought people were looking at me. Some people probably were, because I was all tense and weird. But I just kept doing it. And slowly I learned that after 3, 4, 5 minutes, nobody actually really cares. Nobody really cares. And then 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes in, I start to actually have some fun. I'm starting to adapt. And I start expressing myself. I start getting into the music. The music is inspiring me to dance, do these moves with my body. And people started smiling. Every once in a while, I would catch a girl glimpsing at me, or I'll catch a glimpse. Ugh. I feel like I'm talking really fast. I would catch a glimpse of a girl looking at me just in the midst of all the people dancing, and she'd have a little smile on her face, making eye contact with me. Or, some guy would be like, hey, yeah, he'd start dancing by me too. Or some other guy who looks kind of shy and tense would just start dancing near me. And it, when you start expressing yourself, it's actually contagious. I don't know where the fear comes from. Probably when we're kids, teachers, parents, whoever tell us to sit down, shut up, and we learn oh, I'm not allowed to express myself. But here's the way that I think of it. If you're the type of person who can't express themselves, it's because you're not used to it. You're not used to doing it. The way that I think of it is, you've got these thoughts in your head, right? If you're the type of person who walks into a new environment, for me, it would be, I don't know, when I was in college, I would walk into somebody's dorm room because I was invited there on Saturday and they were all playing video games and I only had one friend and there were new people there. I'd walk in, be kind of tense, and I'd be self-conscious, trying to fit in with these new people, my head down, shoulders hunched over. Or I walk into a cafe and I'm just keep to myself, look down at the ground. Still do that sometimes, depending on what mood I'm in. But like, if you're the type of person who, walks with your head down and you don't engage with your environment, the first thing you need to do is start opening yourself up. And one of the big steps with me overcoming social anxiety, being anxious in social situations, was first, after approaching more people and putting myself in more social environments, was then getting myself to actually speak what was on my mind. Because I noticed that sometimes I would be in a social situation, or I'd be like sitting down next to a bunch of people, we were just hanging out, and say in the dorms or at somebody's house or whatever, and I would I would be quiet. Like, I would have stuff on my mind, but I would be quiet because I didn't want to say the joke that was on my mind, because I didn't think anybody was going to laugh, and I was afraid of them judging me, not thinking I was funny and trying to be funny, or I just didn't want to say the thought that was on my mind because I didn't think it was good enough. The way that I think of it now is, I notice if I pay attention, I'm pretty aware of how people are reacting to me in my environment and how people are just reacting in general. If I'm the quiet person in the room, and I seem a little anxious, it puts people off. It does. It puts people off. Because if you're sitting there anxious, it's like you're bottling something up. You're bottling up expressing yourself. A huge thing for me was if I see a girl who's beautiful across the room and I want to go talk to her and I want to say hey, I think you're attractive, and I want to go ask her out. If I don't do that, I mean, it's not like I have to do it, but the thing is, I felt like I couldn't do it. I felt like I was out of control. I felt like it wasn't even my choice whether I walked over and asked her out, or whether I just stayed and, or just had a conversation with her, just to take her in, or take in her femininity, take in her beauty, whatever. Just have fun talking to her. I felt like it wasn't even a choice. So, if you're the type of person who can't express yourself and can't express what's on your mind, the first thing that you have to do is start saying what's on your mind. When you're hanging out with your friends and you have a joke on your mind and you're not saying it, say it. If you have a thought, say it. Because the only way that you're actually going to practice saying those things is by actually saying them. And people can tell when you have something on your mind and you're not saying it. It makes you seem kind of suspicious. Because it's why is this people aren't, it's they can't read your mind, so you're just sitting there quiet and tense. It's one thing if you're sitting there loose and you're able to just say whatever on your mind. That's a cool pine tree. I'm filming this video in front of this water. I don't know. It's one thing if you're able to say what's on your mind, but you just choose to sit there. But it's another thing if you want to say something, but you feel like you can't, and then that's what's causing you not to. You have to fight that, and you have to learn to shut that voice or that feeling or whatever's holding you back up. And like I said, one thing that you can do, that you can start doing right now, right when you stop watching this video, is when you're hanging out with your friends, or when you're just in a conversation, in an interaction, the next time you go to the store, you're looking at somebody behind the cash register, when you have something on your mind, just say it. You can't focus on people's reactions anymore, or you can't get too caught up on them. That can't be the only purpose of you speaking. Sometimes you just have something on your mind and you want to speak it. And if you feel like you can't do that, of course you're going to feel like you can't express yourself. You're going to be all locked up and not expressing yourself. So you can't express yourself because you're just not used to it. You have to get used to it. That's how you learn to express yourself. Little bits at a time. And yes, it's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's probably also going to feel really good at the same time. And you'll get used to it. When you put yourself in a new environment and you start acting a new way, then you just adjust, you adapt. I was thinking about this earlier. When I overcame shyness and social anxiety, when I didn't want to be a shy person anymore, I started acting like an outgoing person. I started saying hi to people wherever I went, and I started giving compliments. I started taking opportunities to speak in front of people and meet new people. That's what an outgoing person does. And the things that I couldn't control, like shaking a little bit or being kind of tense or whatever, I stopped caring about those, because whatever. If I'm going to get kind of tense in a new social situation, who cares? I can't control that if it's just happening. But over time, once you face that more and more, it starts to subside, it starts to go away, and then all that's left is you expressing yourself. You know, to be honest, I had a lot of hesitation making this video. I thought I was going to miss something. I had a few bullets written out. I thought it wasn't going to be perfect. But one thing that I'm embracing more and more is just getting myself in front of the camera, or just doing the thing, whatever it is, whether it's like filming a video or whether it's doing anything else in life, going into, you know, a new social situation that I'm not used to, or going into just a new environment I'm not used to, doing a new thing in life that I'm not used to, just going in. Because I mean, geez, like, we're not going to be here forever. So if, I mean, like, you personally, me personally, like, it's, I don't know. You just have to make use. It's like why not? Why not, like, take a chance in life? Why not do the things that you want to do? Why not?